Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We have had load shedding. Well, it's not even load shedding, but we've had no electricity for 3 days. FOAs. Literally 3 days. And today was the third day. The power came back and at some point it went off again. So I've been like stuck in terms of like uploading, even working, guys. Like my life has literally been on a standstill. So I'm right here stealing time to do this video in case ESCOM comes back and inconveniences my life. So I'm here to do this video. I know I'm late to the party, but we're here, honey. We're doing a quick review of season 2 of Young, Famous, and African. Yeah, let's get into it. Some wine also just to keep warm. We're going to be talking about season 2 of Young, Famous, and African. So Young, Famous, and African is essentially sort of like a new series of these young, successful celebrities from different parts of Africa where they come together, sort of like form friendships, relationships, and stuff like that, and sort of like navigate their lives within that. I do want to say though that there's very little, I would say, content that relates them to each other. It's just sort of like, oh, I know this guy, or oh, I'm friends with this person, but there's really very little context as to, you know, these people actually knowing each other. I have a theory that they actually don't, but because they've all been casted, they have to sort of pretend like they know each other. For example, Fantana and Naked DJ. Naked DJ is the one that introduces Fantana as the new addition to the show, and we've never even seen them interact, but they're supposedly friends, like, you know. But let's not get too much into that. I just want to put that out there, that I definitely feel like production really struggles to make a seamless introduction of new cast members, and I wish they just wouldn't try. Hey, I wish they would literally just be like, hey, we have new people, they're joining the show, and that's fine. We don't have to pretend like they're friends with each other. Okay, just want to put that out there. So yeah, that's essentially the premise of the show. So like these young is very relative because most of the cast members are in like their late 30s to 40s. So like young is very relative. These are people essentially who've been popular in their own countries and have now come together as like these stars in Africa. Also, I'm kind of getting the idea that it's not so much about how popular or how big your status is, because some of the new additions are people who I would say are still on the come up. Okay, but I'm gonna get to explaining this. How I'm gonna do this, I'm actually gonna break down each character, and I'm gonna just mention things that were highlighted for me throughout the whole, you know, the whole season. I think this might be part 1 of the show, and we should expect a part 2 because it did end, but it was very like abrupt. It was very just like, should we expect more as the next season? Is there going to be a part 2? It's very like, you know. So I'm hoping that there'll be a part 2, but from where we are, this is where we are. And of course, I'm going to start with Kaylee and Naked DJ. So Kaylee and Naked DJ are this couple. They are part of the original cast. You know, they're cute. They really give me nothing, but I'm not mad at them also because they're not so much in the mess, which is okay. Like, it's okay. I do think it was weird though that at some point Naked DJ proposed to Kaylee, and it was a trailer proposal. Wait, it wasn't like the real thing, but it was like me showing you what the real thing would look like. I feel like that was completely disrespectful in my opinion, because what is a trailer proposal? And the fact that came from Kanye Bao, who's literally the messiest person in the cast, she had no good intentions to even mention something like a trailer proposal. So I'm hoping that listen, this review is open to anyone, but I'm hoping that I'm engaging about this with people who've actually watched the show, so that we can all have like a proper conversation in the comment section. Because Kanye Bao did not mean well by introducing something called a trailer proposal. She was being trifling as usual, being messy as usual. So yeah, for me, Kaylee and Naked DJ, I won't say they bring nothing. I think in my first review of the show, I said they bring nothing. They might as well not be here. But I guess, they're like the neutral ground. They keep it very calm. They have their little 2 cents of opinions there. Also, their storyline is not as strong. I feel like in the first season, they were still talking about how much Kaylee would like to take their relationship to the next level and like get married and make things official. And here we are over a year later, and we're still discussing the same thing. Naked DJ is so hypersexual, which is also very like weird. Like, one of the first lines that he said opening the show was how he's D'ing down his girl. I'm just like, you're old, stop it. But yeah, Kaylee and Naked DJ, for me, they're okay. So funny enough, I was gonna mention someone else, but because I really liked this person this season, I'm actually gonna mention them after. Okay, so initially I was gonna talk about Nadia Nakai, but I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna mention Kanye Bao, because Kanye Bao was sort of like the glue last season. She was like the Nene Leaks, where she was like the one who's like, I know people from all parts of Africa, and these are my links, these are my people, I'm bringing them together. She was sort of like narrating the entire show most of the time. She was like the queen of, young, famous, and African. But I feel like this season she really fell off. And you know what? I'm also not mad at that, because I feel like Kanye was a bit of a villain in the previous in the first season, and I feel like I'm okay with her not being this queen that she supposedly sees herself as. Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like she brought me nothing this season. She was fighting for her spot as being like the queen bee, but because a lot of people came into this season with a lot of weight, so she really didn't have like that whole I'm Kanye Bao running Santon that whole persona that she carries. I feel like it really fell short this year, because a lot of people had found themselves, in a sense, like a lot of people were aware of what they bring to the show, were aware of their weight as celebrities in their respect. So I feel like no one was giving her too much of that, like, oh, it's Kanye's thing, Kanye's clique, Kanye, and I felt like she really fell off with the pressure for many reasons. Some of the new additions to the show really, hit her hard, so much that she sort of fell off. I did see that she made a statement on social media, essentially just saying she was going through some like skin condition where she had burnt, blah blah blah. If you do know or you don't, Kanye has been known for like skin bleaching. Kanye wasn't as light as she is back in the day. She's open about it also. It's not like anything that she's discreet about. She has bleached her skin for years, and I guess she had some sort of like bad side effect from it, and that's why she wasn't fully herself this season. I did see that she wrote a statement, and she also mentioned how the show was like cutting their edits and not letting her express herself or present herself in the way that she had wanted to. But for me, I feel like she brought nothing to the season. In fact, she was the messiest person, and not even in the pleasant way, because every show has to have a messy person, but I feel like Kanye for me was just like, was giving insecure messy. Like, I'm intimidated by everyone else, so I'm going to try and sabotage the relationships. I'm going to try and sabotage every storyline because I want some sort of relevance, or I want to make people feel small. That's the vibe that she gave me. Very like, insecure girl. Yeah. Moving along, I'm going to talk about Nadia Nakai. Guys, okay? Nadia was actually my least favorite cast member in the first season. But honey, I'm not gonna lie. I love her. I absolutely loved Nadia this season. I feel like she's giving me big girl. Not like big girl, but she's giving me like big girl. She knows what she's about. She knows herself. And everything that I feel like she was really being herself in a sense, where she wasn't pretentious. She wasn't trying to win anyone. She wasn't trying to be in any clique, but she was really just being herself. She's super funny in all of her like confessionals, like her diary sections. Her diary sections were hilarious. Like she'd always have like funny opinions of what's going on. She's like dramatic. And I feel like whenever she did have an opinion, she was making justified opinions. Like the time when she mentioned that Diamond was actually the fuse between Zari and Fantana's beef. Like she was like, guys, hold on here. Fantana is saying Diamond told her things about Zari, and now Zari is mad about that. The person who's at the issue here is actually Diamond. And also when she spoke up when Two-Face, Baba was talking about how men are naturally, sexual beings and they can do whatever they want. They can be in love with a woman, but they can, F around on the side. And Nadia was being like, hold on, is that like how you think? Is that like how you function in your relationship? And he was still saying, yeah, this is what I believe in, this is what I do, this is how I reason. And although they kind of like pinned that on Nadia was just being for real, and I really give her kudos. She was like the realest person for me this season. She wasn't trying to win anyone. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was really giving me like, also because we all have like context from the outside, like in her actual real life where she was in a new relationship with AKA. I feel like because of those reasons and her career was doing kind of well, she was very like secure, she was very like comfortable in her life and her story. She didn't have to pretend to be something that she wasn't. Yeah, she gave me like big girl, I know who I am, I'm good. Like I don't, I'm here, but like I'm good. Also, she wasn't being mean. She was really trying to be fun with everyone. She hashed her stuff out with Zari, which was great. I feel like I love her actually. And her hair, Nadia gave us hair. Okay, one thing about Nadia Nakai, she has good hair. She was giving looks, and shout out to her for that. Zari was actually one of my favorite people in the first season, but in the second season, I won't say like I was like crazy about her as much. I feel like there were some moments of hers that really were starting to, be like, okay, we get it. The whole Zari, the boss lady thing. I feel like she did so much of that last year, and it carried so much weight in the first season that this season you can't still be talking about that. Because also, why are you the boss lady? Are you really a millionaire? What is it based off of? What does she do? What are her accolades? What are her credentials? Like, what has Zari done? Maybe I should probably have done my research before I have this opinion, but I definitely feel like this season I'm just like, okay, we get it. And the whole hype around her being Diamond's baby mama, we get it. Like, we get it, guys. And I feel like both of them are just super obsessed with this. Both of them equally. I feel like Zari is obsessed with being Diamond's baby mama, and Diamond's obsessed with having Zari as his baby mama. I feel like they both keep bouncing that ball whenever there's an opportunity. They're just like, yeah, that's my baby mama, yeah, that's my baby daddy. Like, hey, like, you guys need to relax, okay? I feel like, I don't know, like they have such a very strange dynamic. There really isn't much to say about Diamond Platinum apart from him being like painted as this like Casanova. He's like the male attraction of the show, I guess, because it's like we're 2 seasons in and he's still the guy that all the girls want. Which I guess, he's flying on private jets. He's the very big star. Like the whole Zari and Diamond Platinum thing is like, also Diamond being on tour every freaking Diamond wasn't on the show again. Like, and you know what? I'm not even mad at it because honestly, what were we gonna do with Diamond. Like, having him around brings no substance either way. So I'm not even mad that he's gone half of the time. Like, go on tour. Just go. Zari wants to have this thing where she's like, nobody can mess with me when it comes to my baby daddy. I can call him today and he's trying to get back in there. You know, you can tell that she has that mentality. And I feel like Diamond's also just like, that's my queen. And when I want to pull up, I'm going to pull up. No one must disrespect my queen. I feel like both of them are freaking weird. Like, leave each other alone. I think Zari's even married now to like a guy who's like 20 years younger than her. Zari is a very beautiful woman, okay? I'm not gonna dispute that, but like, I don't know. I just feel like for me this season, I'm just like rolling my eyes like, okay girl, we get it. Annie and Swanky, I'm gonna package them together because I guess for me, Annie was being Annie. I did not dislike Annie in the previous season, nor do I dislike her now. In fact, I might have a better understanding of who she is this season. And I feel like Annie is not so much the victim that we all have sort of like painted her out to be. I feel like she's very much aware of the life that she signed up to. She knows that her husband is the way that he is, and she's not gonna leave him. And he's not gonna leave Tubaba. Forever, yeah, forever him. Okay? And I feel like, yeah, Annie's not a victim. She knows what she's doing, and I'm sorry if this sounds horrible, but I feel like Annie needs Tubaba. Because she has mentioned that she's been a model and actress, but no one respects her for that. Everyone knows and sees her as Tubaba's wife, and so she needs that, which is why maybe she's sticking around for it. No disrespect, but I feel like for Tubaba to sit there in front of everybody and speak as a man who does not respect his marriage, does not respect his wife. No one is asking Tubaba to be perfect, but for him to literally sit there and say, yeah, I can do whatever I want. I'm a man and I'm programmed like this. And I feel like what everyone else was doing, including Unadia, was try to throw a bone at Tubaba. Like, are you sure this is how you think? And this would have been a perfect opportunity for him to say, no, I'm just generalizing. I'm just speaking from a general context. That's not how I navigate in my relationship, okay? Because you're the guy that's been accused of having multiple children outside of your marriage, and your wife has stuck beside you, and you still sit there next to her, and you say that, wait, now in a marriage, it doesn't matter. If you are in London and you want to get a he, you can get a he, because you're a man. I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like Annie knows exactly what she's doing, and she knows what she's in for. She has to be, she has to be a victim. And I feel like even the whole Swanky drama and stuff like that actually revealed to me that Annie is low-key toxic, and yeah, she likes getting the sympathy aspect of it, but deep down she knows that she's a villain as well, and she signed up to a life that has backfired. And yeah, I feel like Annie's not innocent. Something is telling me that Annie's not innocent. She's not this victim that we paint her out to be, and she's not gonna leave innocent because she needs him. I did not like Swanky this season. I feel like he was like grasping for straws. I feel like for someone who claims to be so relevant in like this African society and part of the elite, he was really pushing too hard to be a somebody. I really did not enjoy Swanky. I feel like he was very extra, and not even in the pleasant way. There was a new cast member, Louis. Some people call him that. I feel like he was extremely mean towards Louis. He was too ass kissy, too bonang. Even the whole Annie thing for me was just like baseless. You know, I was just like, you know. So I did not enjoy Swanky. Even his style for me, I know he has a very campy aesthetic where he's like, you know, a bit overboard, and that's fine. But some of his campy looks were giving cheap. I'm sorry to say this, but some of his campy looks were giving cheap. And I don't think campy looks are supposed to give cheap. So I don't know. For me, Swanky was just like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Every time he would like throw a tantrum, I would like cringe. I did not enjoy it. Even his drama with Annie. I wish they had given us the audio. I wish we had heard Annie speaking so negatively about him. That way we would have better context. But their whole beef was like, you know, if they say it was scripted, I would believe it, because it had no weight. It carried no weight. For me, it was silly. I also hated how Swanky then fabricated a story to put Louis in a bad light towards Bonang. I was just like, that's so trifling. Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, I don't know. Swanky for me was just like very like, oh, probably, yeah, least favorites. Yeah, I think Swanky was like the bottom. I did not like him at all. So it's like Swanky, Kanye, and then Kaylee and Naked DJ, and then it's like everyone else. But yeah, Swanky for me was like giving. I hope Swanky doesn't come back next season, honestly. I don't want him back personally for me. Okay? Now we're gonna talk about Andile. Do you see how I'm covering the old cast, and then we're gonna step into the new additions? Yeah, I like that. So Andile, I really like Andile. You guys know that. I like Andile, and you guys, I'm gonna have a drink. Completely random. I think like a month ago, I went to Four Ways Mall. I was by myself. I feel like it was the day that I got this hair installed, actually. Yeah, the day I got this hair installed, I went to Four Ways Mall to go meet my brother. And as I was walking into Four Ways Mall, Andile was there. Like, he was exiting and I was entering the mall. Did he not stand? And he was like quite further. So I could have walked in without him caring or bumping into me or anything like that. But he literally stood and smiled and said, he insists that I walk in first. I was like, what? Not me blushing. Not me blushing over a complete stranger. But I was just like, oh my God, he's so good looking. The way he's good looking on the show, he's good looking in person. And that was the first time I've ever seen him. I'm sure he doesn't even remember the incident, because maybe he does that to every woman. I don't know. Maybe he's naturally like a very, is it chivalry? I don't know. But like he's a gentleman, I guess, in every space that he's in. So maybe it wasn't even significant to him. But I just wanted to tell you guys that. So I am like pro Andile, you know. But on the show, I get it. Like, okay, you're the good guy. You're sweet. You're charming. He dresses well, very well put together. But I feel like he also does this like therapy session thing. He's like the group therapist, like the wise guy with all the knowledge, you know, trying to save the day. I just felt like to some degree it was like very unnecessary where he had to do that. And I feel like there were parts where he could have played the nice guy or the voice of reason, and he didn't. Like the whole Tubaba situation, I feel like he could have said something substantial, you know, to Annie. And I understand that he is Annie's friend, so he doesn't want to not stand with Annie, which is why I feel like he sees that Annie is choosing to be delusional to the situation, so he can't have an active opinion based on that, because him saying Annie told me your man is trifling would not work well for their friendship. So he's just like, let me reason with them, let me try and see Tubaba as this like, you know, victim to society standards, where everyone just want to chop this family up, everyone just trying to hate on this family. I think he's trying to do that because he's trying to protect his relationship and friendship with Annie. But as someone who's supposedly the voice of reason, I feel like you could have also been like to Baba, especially when they were having the dinner. He could have said, hey, my boy, maybe this is not the conversation we should be having with the ladies around. Maybe we could have this conversation with just us as boys. You know, the whole like men are polygamous or men want to smash and blah, blah, blah. I feel like he could have literally like chopped that conversation off and just been like, hey, maybe this is not the type of like space to have this chat. But sorry, ladies, we did not mean it like that. And then like wink at, you know, to Baba being like, we can talk about this when we're playing basketball or, you know, at the barber shop. But I feel like he didn't do anything about that. In fact, he was criticizing Nadia as though Nadia was the one who was nudging to Baba to speak ill of his marriage or of his relationship. And I was just like, no. So I get Andile for some parts, and I also feel like him bringing his baby mamas to go there and like fight. He literally brought the mothers of his children to sit there and fight with each other in front of everybody, and he made them sit next to each other for what? And I also find it extremely surprising that both of them are still like gunning to still be with him. Like both of them are very much interested in him, which I guess I can understand. He is a beautiful chocolate brown African man with charm. You know, his whole thing works. So I guess that's why they still want to be with him. But I feel like he brought them there to embarrass them. And if I were to choose which baby mama to go back to, I would honestly say Rosette. I get that Siba Bato, if I'm saying it correctly, is as beautiful, and she's more of the poise and like subtle, and like she's probably gonna be more loyal to him than her. I mean, she's probably gonna be loyal to him than he is gonna be to her. But I feel like he should take Rosette, because Rosette she's got balls. Rosette is like, don't play with me. I want you, and I want you right now. She's giving me that, and I feel like Andile needs that challenge, because he does the soft guy, good guy game thing so well, and I can see how much that could hurt someone who goes in with good intentions. But someone like Rosette is very just like, I know who I am. I'm a bad girl too. You know, she's giving me those vibes. And I feel like those two can handle each other, which is why Andile wouldn't necessarily go back to Rosette, because Rosette can always bounce off, and Rosette looks hot. But Sibabato seems like she's still very invested, and I feel like you can tell that they're still doing the they're still doing so yeah, she's more vulnerable than Rosette, which is why I do recommend that it would work better if Rosette and Andile would be a thing than Sibabato, because Sibabato seems like a very like decent person, and she probably should have someone with more stability without that. I feel like Andile has so many philosophies for her. Okay, let's get into the new people on the show. I'm gonna start with the queen. I'm gonna start with the queen bee. Bonang. So Bonang enters the show, obviously announced by Mr. Swanky as like the female version of Swanky Jerry, which no. I feel like Bonang has really earned her spot in the industry and in entertainment in general. I feel like no one should really compare themselves to her, and not because she's like the greatest thing alive, but I feel like in her place and in her space she's done so well. She's extremely timeless, because Wanang has been a celebrity for years, you guys, for years, and she has held her own. She's surpassed the scandal status, the GBV, the what. She's been accused of witchcraft, for goodness sakes, and she's still standing. You know, she's left South Africa and moved to New York or America, and you know, she's doing well for herself. I feel like a lot of people are saying that she shouldn't have done this show. Personally, for me, I feel like she did exactly what she was supposed to do. I feel like her even coming on the show and leaving and cutting it short was probably the best decision for me, in my opinion. I feel like she was, in as much as I do feel like she didn't really fit in, she is quite bigger than the show. I feel like her showing up and leaving was probably the best decision that they could have done. I'm okay with her being part of it, but I'm also extremely thankful that she left, because seeing more of her would have probably tainted more of her image. And this is not to say that Bonang is not a loud, abrasive, open, you know, just like outspoken woman. She's always been like that, guys. I don't understand why people are shocked that Bonang is being Bonang. Like, she's always been the way that she is. But I'm happy that she did the show to take that off. I feel like there was also just like this is how celebrities move. This is how someone like Beyonce would go on a show and she would cut it off. I feel like, I'm not saying she would or she has, I'm saying that's the type of person, that's the type of strategy they would move in. So I'm happy with Bonang getting into Netflix, creating that relationship, playing with the other kids, and then pulling back off. Because remember who I am. We're not on the same level. Because we're not. But whether Kanye, Bao, and them like it or not, we're not. Okay? I like everything that Bonang did. I loved her abrasive, over dramatic character. I will say, however, her whole beef with Louis was very just like overdrawn. I feel like she took it way too far. Maybe it was the champagne, but I feel like, yes, he did not deserve all those hits. But I understand Bonang, maybe she was playing it off. She was trying to be, you know, more charismatic on the show. She wanted to bring more color. I don't know. But for me personally, I'm happy with Bonang joining the show and leaving. I like the fact that she left. I absolutely love the fact that she left, because her staying would have been, I don't know, because everyone was already sort of like trying to they were making an effort to not notice her. And I know that the narrative was that, oh, I was supposed to bow down and scream and shout because she's here. No one was expecting that, but no one was even actively trying to sit with her and talk to her. Not Kanye, not Nadia, not Naked DJ, who supposedly has worked with her. I just feel like a lot of them were purposely trying to show that we're not faced. We're not faced. She's just another person. And yeah, bora gelando. And I'm happy that Bonang wasn't like begging and crying and screaming and shouting for them to talk to her. I'm happy. I'm happy with how things panned out, honestly. I'm happy with what she brought to the show. Even her being sort of like the glue between Annie and Zari. I like that she played a part in that. I'm not mad at Bonang. I'm glad that she left. I hope she doesn't come back. In actual fact. Then we have Fantana. I think that's how Diamond calls her Fantana. 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 Ah, Fantana. Fantana. So Fantana is apparently a Ghanaian artist. She does dance hall music in Ghana. You know what's funny? When I saw the show, as I was watching the show, obviously I knew a couple of the people. I don't really follow them or anything like that. But the new people, I did try and like search on Instagram, and I realized I was already following Fantana. How am I following Fantana? I'm following Fantana because she's a thick girl. She's like a thick babe. And I follow, guys, if you were to go through my Instagram, I don't follow men. I don't follow celebrities. I don't follow designer, whatever. I follow other thick, beautiful girls. So I don't know if, I don't know. But I was following Fantana because she's a hot, thick girl. Yeah. For me, Fantana was a character, okay? I feel like I have so many opinions regarding Fantana. I feel like I get that she's a young, sexy, beautiful, African woman who is born in America, which is funny because she is American. And she sounds American, and she's acting American. She's acting American in the sense that some of the things that she was saying were very giving like American. And the thing about Africa is that Africa is some sense conservative. So if you're gonna sit there and say, oh well, I have niggas talking to me every day, it's not gonna look good in Africa. You can do that if you're in America, but if you're in Africa, there's gonna be side eyes, and I hate that she's gonna get this type of black backlash. I've seen it on TikTok already, where people are just like, she's so embarrassing, like bragging about men, blah blah blah. And I wish she had gotten like a heads up that, babes, don't do that here. But I also understand that she's just being young, wild, and free. She's a beautiful, sexy woman. I'm sure she does get a lot of attention from men. And she does care about men and their, what did she say? Chains. I don't know. Some of the things that she was saying were really like cringy. Like, you're talking about like, I can see another guy with like chains. But at the same time, you are so holding on to Diamond for dear life. Like, Fantana was fighting for her life to hold on to Diamond Platinum, but at the same breath she's like, I can have another diamond tomorrow. But you are clinging onto him. You are literally sweating. You are in World War III for this man that you just met, who did not take you out on a date. I don't know why Fantana kept saying Diamond took her out on a date. No, he invited you to your house and you guys started lip sync. And you went upstairs. You went there wearing a 2-piece Shein or Fashion Nova set with no underwear. I'm not here to shame her, but I feel like she could have done better. But I also get where she's coming from. Because I guess you are liberal and you can do whatever you want. You're young and you're free. I guess you're hot. I guess. But I felt like you could have been more substantial. And you could have played Diamond Platinum without you also looking like you're begging for him. The way she jumped for that kiss, she was like... Yeah, and I mean, she fought with Zari over the whole, triangle. And it was even like sad watching Diamond sit there and say, I didn't say anything to you, baby girl. This is my baby mama. You better respect her. And made her look stupid. And she still went home and said, you know what? Maybe Diamond didn't want to be a bad guy. So I'm going to forgive Diamond. I'm going to understand him. I was just like, girl. If you're saying this guy is not on your top 5, why are you even understanding his situation? If he clearly has a messy situation with his baby mama, why are you here? Like, why are you begging for that? I just feel like Fantana, I was rooting for you. I was rooting for Fantana, but then I don't know. I like that she gave Zari, her run for her money, but I also felt like everything she said was just like cringy. I would just be like, and the way the season ended, where she was there in his private jet, and she's like, "I love you. I'm gonna miss you," and I'm just like, "Girl, what is going on? What is going on?" Like, she looked so. I was like so embarrassed for her. That's all I'm gonna say. And like she's a beautiful girl. I feel like I get that she likes the attention, and I get it's like she wants more. Like she needs it. Like she wants to be seen. She wants to be, because even with Louis, I feel like she could have cut Louis off. Like, no, not interested. You're not my guy, not my vibe. But she went on the date. Why? Like, I don't know. She's so hot, but she's also getting like desperate girl. That's wild. Not much to say about Louis. I feel like he was dealt some very tricky cards. I feel like, yeah, he was like an easy target, and the whole surrogacy thing was very weird. Even though it was sort of like twisted to seem like he was asking Zari for her eggs, or was like whatever crazy scenario they were trying to paint out, I still feel like you don't just go with anyone to go like discuss surrogacy. But I also understand his story with him, being like shunned by his family and his church because he's pursuing a worldly career and worldly lifestyle. I definitely, do empathize with him in terms of that. I feel like he also wasn't ready for the show. I feel like, yeah, he wasn't ready for the show, and I feel like, he needs to grow up a bit and then come back, because even him having any interest in Fantana remotely was just a like, are you like, be for real? Like, it's never gonna happen. I feel like he was, it's like that guy who just wanted to fit in, just like a sad guy. I'm sorry, but he's cute. I feel like he was very handsome, very cute, but I feel like he wasn't ready for the show, and which is why everyone was just slapping him from every corner, like left, right, and center, and most of it he didn't even deserve. I feel like the whole Bonang thing wasn't warranted. I feel like even with the Zari saga, even when Swanky was like after him, was just like, why? Like, are you for real? This guy did nothing to you. Yeah, I feel like he was extremely bullied because they saw him as an easy target, and they saw him as someone who wanted to fit in with everyone. So it made sense to sort of like break him, and he did break. Like, he cracked. He fell apart. But yeah, my opinion in the entire show would be that let's recast. Yeah, let's recast. Maybe we can keep Nadia because she's still young, and I guess she still has a story to tell, especially because of what we know as South Africans, like her losing her partner, blah blah blah. I feel like that could still carry some weight in her storyline. Maybe let's drop the older cast members. Let's drop more Zari, Kanyimbao needs to get out of there. Kanyimbao, Zari, Swanky, Annie, Tubaba, that whole mess of these people, these old people. Andile, let them go. Let's have a fresh new cast. Maybe we can keep Diamond brings nothing to the table. He's probably gonna come in, see another hot girl and run after them and then go on tour. Like, so let's leave Diamond as well. Bring back Nadia, bring back Louis. I feel like you can bring back Louis because I feel like he's still, I think maybe in a year later he could be more manly, he could be more masculine, and he could, I don't know, have more self-respect. I do think he's a good person, but I do think he needs to be a lot more stronger. Bring back Fantana. I think there's a lot of her to play around with in terms of the guys. I guess that's already her story. She likes men and men like her. So let's let that happen. Let's let that fun happen. So yeah, bring back Nadia, bring back Fantana, bring back Louis, bring back who else? No, just those three, and let's have a new cast. Like, let's have like younger people who are famous and African. Let's leave the whole divorced children, baby mamas, baby daddies, that whole stuff. Let's drop that. Let's bring young people. Guys, there's so many young people who have like stories to tell. Like, I saw someone mentioning Anele Zondo, who's like a young rapper and presenter and influencer. Let's bring young people. Let's bring the DJ Kapi, the Nigerian billionaire siblings. Let's bring I'm trying to think of like other stars from other countries. Let's bring like the video vixens in Ghana. Let's bring like the baddies. The girl who dated Rick Ross from Tanzania. Let's bring those girls up. Let's bring those people up. Yeah? Let's bring those people up. So yeah, that's my opinion on the show. I did enjoy this season, I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Netflix. The budget is looking good. People were pulling up in Bentleys, baby. So yeah, I enjoyed this season and I'm looking forward to the next season. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of mine, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. I'll see you guys next time. Something I can't feel, I just wanna